Welcome back. So add customer is now available, and what I want to do this lesson is add an ID to our customer, because I think customers should have an ID as well, because it's just easier for us later when we need to delete them. So I'm going back to our customer CS file, the customer class right here, and if you guys can't see it, you can find it over here under your program. Here's a customer file right there. When you double click that, you should be able to go into the customer CS file right here. And notice all the gray stuff up here, I can actually remove that because I'm not using it. So the usings that you are not using, you can remove them. Okay, so again, prop for making a property, double tap for starting making that property. I'll keep the int for now. We'll talk about different ID types later. I'll call it ID for ID. Makes sense. And now we have an ID for the customer that we can get and set of the type of int. And let's just make this guy public as well, since we're in here anyway. So now we have a customer available, an internal customer right now with the ID here. So let's add an ID inside our program. And right now we're just going to keep the static system in place. So we're going to make a static ID right here and start at 0. So the first ID is 0. No, let's actually start at 1. So what we'll do is we'll make a customer here. The first customer, he will get the ID. The ID is now available. Notice that. I'll make an equal sign and I'll say ID, which is this ID up here, plus plus. I'll do a comma. Now this guy gets the ID of 1 and then it counts up one number. So the next one will get ID of 2. Actually, if I move this around, did it like this, just to show you that, and I actually started at 0, then this guy would actually get ID of 1 still, because I would add 1 because the plus is now in front, and then I would assign it to the ID. Just something to think about. So it is actually important where you put your plus plus, if it's on the one side or the other. Good. We have our program ready now for the first customer. Let's add that to the second customer as well right here. Remember again, this is all running in memory right now. So as soon as I shut down the program, start it again, the ID will be reset to 1, and I'll add 1 again to the first customer. I'll add an ID of 2 to the second customer, ID plus plus, there we go, whoop, etc, etc. So now we have IDs available, but we also need to put those IDs inside our add function, right? Because when I add a new customer, he should also get an ID. So what I'll do down here is the same thing, ID like this equals ID plus plus. This is a very basic way of running IDs. We're going to do it in a different way when we start working with persisting our data. A word you need to remember there, persisting data. Right now it's in memory, but we want to store it in a database later on in another part of the course. But right now it's just in memory, so this is fine. So now the ID is also in our add customer, but we also need it inside the list customer. So let's actually make the list customer here that we also have an ID available here. So I'll just do an ID here and I'll add the curly brackets, start end. And I will add a space and I'll write customer.id like this. And there we go. Now we also have the ID available when we actually list all our customers. So let's try and run this now, see if this actually worked. Press 1. I got ID 1, that's Bob. ID 2, that's Lars. Let's add another user. Pressing 2. Limbo. Basut. List the customers again, and he got ID of 3. So it seems that it's running. Next time we'll start working with delete and see if it still works. See you next time.